Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I'm here again with another Bionicle mask wall update. Now this update, I'm just going to first show what was from the wall before. This is just the Metru mask type wall. There are a few things here and there I did have to make exceptions for, and I actually have a few other things off screen that I'm not really sure if how they're going to fit onto the wall, but I'd just like to mention there is an update to the actual wall here. There are more masks included, and more of the bottom row has been kind of fleshed out. All of Takanuva's versions of his mask are along here, this one being the Stars version, this one being the hands on Makuta in the original 2003 set. And this one, obviously, the Vantoka version. This is Axon's mask. I got this one in the Paraka Outpost set, which was a miniature version of the Bionicle characters. So I don't know if there is a second color for this mask. Some sources list that there is. Some I kind of consider it the same. I'm not really sure on that part, if it's the same as the actual mask for the figure, Axon. Makuta's mask is the original version. If I were to turn this around, it has 6 holes, as opposed to the later version, which only has 4 holes on the bottom of that half of the mask. I'm not really sure if I'm going to get either of these two duplicate versions or even have a space here for them. It's a little bit cramped for space as it is, and I do have more space up top, but I still have to figure out how that's all going to go. I did do a little bit extra here. I did have a row for the Avmatoran masks. I do realize there's only 3. Well, unless you count the ones that are... There's technically 6 of those types of figures, but there are 3 of them that are actually considered Matoran, like Tamna. His mask I also have to put on there as well, but I'll have to do the review before I do that. But they would have to go into these 3 spots. The others would kind of go in there. I'm not really sure if they are masks that necessarily have a power associated to them, so I'm a little iffy on that. I do have another mask of life that I did count Vezon's mask, because if you flip this head around, it is supposed to be this side. It is just a little too large to fit there if there was another head in that place, so I kind of have it sitting here as Vezon. I do also have the Glatorian version, which is a little bit smaller than the original Mask of Life. I'm not really sure if that's going to stay on that wall, because this version has a different head associated with it, and there would also be a different construction there, so I don't want to bother with it. The other version that would go in this place would be this in a... I forget if it's a pearl gold or just a regular flat dark gold like this. That would just go right next to it. Now I also have, considering the Vezon mask version over here, I do have the one that's in more of a gunmetal color that's included on Maxilos and Spinax. It's one of the shoulder blade pieces, and there's supposed to be another. I just didn't get that one yet because I got this figure incomplete. But I will try to use one of these and maybe fit it on the wall somehow, somewhere. And even his mask is not really considered a mask with any power associated with it, but it's still a nice one I would like to have on display. Again, just haven't figured out where on here it's supposed to go. So there are a lot of heads on here that don't have masks. There are a couple areas in which I have space to play around with. Even towards the top, I could probably fit another mask up there. Most likely it would just be the silver version of this mask, because I don't have that color, but it's one that theoretically would go in that space. So that's just an update on this part of the wall. Now let's talk about 2 other walls that I have completed. Or at least the construction of them is completed. The collection is a whole nother story. So here we have what I've constructed so far of the Krana wall. This is a wall that has to do with the Borak figures. They're small, round, they're small, round machines that have these creatures inside of them to control them, and each one has a different power associated with it. There are also an advanced form of these called the krana-kal, which have a more metallic color, and, well, I'm not really sure at the time of recording this video if they're going to be in the same wall structure as this, or if they're going to be on another one entirely. For those, not counting the kind of more rare versions, I would say it takes about 48 krana-kal, and I do have a bunch of them complete as far as complete color sets, but I'm not sure right now if that's going to fit onto the same space. This has from, I think it's from about this level downward, are the krana-kal. They're the inactive versions that are carried out to the Borok if they need an extra creature to, supply them. And these are the active versions. There are 2 more rows that's supposed to be above this, but I don't have the space or bricks for it right now. So this is just what I've worked with. There are a lot of these that are nearly complete. We have a whole row of purple, a whole row of dark gray, a whole row of orange, a whole row of, well, that's pretty much it. The other ones are missing only 1 or 2, and there's some that are just missing a whole bunch. And the 2 rows above it don't really have a lot to them either. I'd have to check back on my checklist to see which ones I still need to get there. But this is giving you a rough idea for what I'm working with. There are these black pieces in between. For right now, they're just a placeholder. They're not going to stay there. They're only there because I have a lot of these mask heads that don't have a brainstalk behind them. You'll see in the later part of the wall, and even some of the ones up here, they have little eyes behind them. I kind of hold them to, bring them out a little bit more from the wall, give them some uniformity. I'm not really sure if I'm going to mix around any of the eye colors. For right now, I'm just keeping it where it is. I'll do that later if I need to and see what I'm working with. As far as the colors of the heads, again, I'll work around that as best as I can. I definitely want to work around the white, because these white heads are not going well with the white masks. And if I can move that to another area, that would be cool and a lot more uniform. But yeah, these are only in place so that they stick out more from the wall and keep the uniformity with some of the ones above it. But eventually, I'll get a whole bunch of bushings to put behind there, or if I get more heads with the brain stalks attached to them, I'll do that as well. But that's just an idea for what the krana wall is going to look like. Again, not really sure if it's going to go a lot higher to accompany the krana-kal. It's going to have at least 2 more rows at the minimum, but I don't know if it's going to have on top of that another 6 or 7 rows. But it's going good so far, and a lot of this actually came from 1 or 2 Bricklink hauls from a while ago. Back in 2015, there was a German seller. I mainly went to the store for a certain mask. I found a whole bunch of these for dirt cheap, and I'm happy that I was able to pick them up in a bunch of different colors. So it really fleshes out. This is a very complete part of the wall. Out of all the mask parts of the wall that I'm constructing, this one is probably the most complete, and that's saying something. Alright, so let's take a look at the next part, which I've worked on. And here we have the 3rd wall of the MOC that I've been working on. This is the Kanohi mask wall part. This is specifically for the Toa, but I'm also going to include maybe a few other things. As you can see towards the bottom, this is just a makeup of another row. There's actually 3 more that are supposed to be on top of there, but it didn't have enough space, and I don't have the Technic pieces to put behind it, so I took it out for a little bit. This is a basic structure for how it goes up. It might actually be a little bit taller on one end, but I'll fix that a little bit later. So this is just a general idea for, the original 6 Toa had 6 of their masks in different colors, so 36 total. There were a different couple of them that were for different figures, and there was even this one which came with the power pack, which was also around the same time when the Toa came out. There are also gold and silver versions of some of the masks, released a little bit later than these Toa. And there are just countless other colors, like the ones down here, that came with, a bunch of other figures. So it's a lot to go through, but I'm happy to go through it. Now, there are a few I haven't added onto the wall. I could actually add this blue one to go up here. But for right now, I have it with the Tarakava set because I still need to review that. So when that's reviewed and, I'll upload it to YouTube, then I'll, put the mask up on there. Same goes with this mask, which is in a turquoise color. So there is going to be a lot more spacing for this. I'll probably move a bunch of these heads upward. I want to have these 6 rows on the top and then all the other colors of any of those masks trickle down from there. Now, there will be a lot of them that are of this color, or, this type of mask will be in a lot of different colors. It's probably one of the most popular as far as colors go. But this one also has a lot of different colors. I'm not really sure about any of the other ones that were really used that much outside of the 36 here, but a few. And they each had their own silver and gold versions, as I mentioned before. So, you know, those will be added in for their own rows too. The Nuva forms, which are the more advanced types, will probably be on another shelf. I'm not really sure how that's going to work with this. For the Taraga, they have their own types too, and there are different colors for that as well. That may also go onto another wall. I don't want these walls to be too tall that it might be A, very fragile, B, hard to fit into a container for transporting, and C, just a lot to, you know, like if it was on a table display at a show or something, I don't want it to be something I can't see over. So I think this is actually a good height for it. Maybe add in a few of those other rows that I mentioned before, just to fill things in. But I think this works out for now. I don't know why that fell off earlier. So there we have that, and it's a nice little update. A lot of progress. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with more LEGO videos. You can check back here for the playlist and see more updates on the Bionicle Mask Wall, my biggest MOC project to date, because of the number of pieces, also the number of collectability for it. I am not aiming to collect every mask of every type. Eventually, it might be nice, but I know that there are some that are going to be way out of reach. For these would be nice to get a lot more of them to fill them in, because I think they look great. But they go for $2 to $3 at like minimum each, and that's a little crazy in my opinion. I was lucky to get some of these a little bit cheaper than that on eBay in a bulk lot, and even a few other places. But for now, that's what I got. And I also can't really build much more at this point because I ran out of these Technic pieces and also ran out of the dark bluish gray pieces that go behind them. So I can't fill in any more of the rows. I also don't have any more Kanoe heads, or not a lot of them, to fill in for upcoming rows. So this is where it's at. And, well, I'll have to find ways to get more of those pieces. So we'll see you next time with more LEGO videos. When the next one comes out, it'll just come out. I don't really know how long it's going to take, but hopefully not too long. And there will be more Bionicle videos on the channel, so you can check those out as well. A lot of reviews. I actually reviewed, as of recording this, I reviewed the original Toa Mata. And I may do the combo model. There's actually a few combo models with them, so I may do those videos as well if you guys would like to see them. So, see you later.